The housing crisis driving unemployment, unemployment compounding the housing crisis. It's a vicious cycle, the epicenter of our economic meltdown. And now the national unemployment rate at 6.5%. But Dani Babb says we need to look at the types of jobs being lost. Dani joins us right now, the housing expert extraordinaire. What do you make of this unemployment situation?
Well, in general, unemployment's never good for anything, housing and so on. But if we look at where the jobs were lost, particularly manufacturing, retail, and construction, these are areas where they have very low home ownership in general anyway. So I'm not so sure that it actually advances the problem.
But it doesn't make it better.
It doesn't make it any better, but I don't think that we're doing any particular damage here. No, a lot of these individuals are already in foreclosure. They've already had gone through the process, are 3 months or more in default. And we actually see a lot of these particular sectors being hit pretty hard in general. Anyway, they've been losing, for example, their pay rate's not keeping up with inflation.
But isn't the argument, Dani, and I've seen this in the 87 stock market crash, a fixed number of people lose their jobs. Oddly enough, back then, not as many as you think, but people are afraid they'll lose theirs too. So they just stop. Certainly they stop buying homes.
Well, they stop discretionary spending, absolutely, but they're going to continue to pay their mortgage. I mean, most people, when you poll them, they say, I'll pay my mortgage before I'll pay anything else, my rental properties or my cars or whatever it happens to be. But we also have to look at the fact that there are other indicators here. For example, 50% of the people in these particular industries own their home outright. 75% of them don't even have a home equity line or a second mortch.
But I see nothing on the horizon that would make people sort of say, darn it, I'm optimistic. I know the unemployment rate's going up, but we got a new administration coming in, and they're spending a lot of money, and that could be a problem. So I'm just going to sit this one out and see how it goes.
It's not going to help inventory. I completely agree with you there. It's not going to take houses off the market. Anytime people are worried about anything, jobs, they see their 401k value drop, they're not going to take it and put it into housing. It's not going to help the housing market, but I don't think it's going to have the damage that a lot of people believe.
But isn't the flip side, and this is a tragic way of putting it, but the worse things get, the lower interest rates get. So
that's right.
The flip side of that is, hey, it's cheaper to borrow.
Right. LIBOR, I believe, is down to 2.3%.
You're talking about the London Interbank Offered Rate. It's
exactly.
A key market rate, and that has been sliding up for, what, 20 days in a row now?
Yeah, and it's down to just a bit over 2.25% from 5% at the beginning of October. That affects lots of different things.
That's the 30-day LIBOR rate, though.
Right.
I mean, they go up to 120. But go ahead. That means what?
Yeah, well, that means that the cost of credit and the cost of existing loans is cheaper. So even if people are making less money or they're having to use their savings while they find another job, at least the payments that they are paying are substantially less than they were.
All right, so I still don't see sellers much budging, and I don't see buyers, at least in the numbers you want to see, buying.
Great.
So the standoff continues, right?
The standoff continues. We do see some sellers in certain areas, Nevada, Arizona, and Florida, dropping their price, often required via short sale through the lender. But there are many areas, and the East Coast is notorious for this, do not want to drop their price unless it's absolutely dire. They have to realize that the equilibrium has dropped, and their price is no longer going to.
Could I ask you a dumb question, Dani? Who is better for housing, when you have a Democrat in the White House or a Republican?
I love it when you ask those kinds of questions. I don't think either one of them right now, to be honest with you. I think that whoever will stay the most out of housing, whoever will keep stop giving money to people, whoever will just let companies that are going to fail will be the best for housing.
Well, that ain't happening, Sparky.
It's not happening.
All right. And by the way, both administrations of both parties are doing that. Dani, great seeing you.
You too.
We'll see what happens.
Thank you.
All right, we'll get ready.